Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another episode recap and thoughts for Dragonball Super. This one will be for the FUNimation dub of episode 31. We begin this episode with the Galactic Patrolman receiving a message to keep an eye out for a criminal known as Gepu Man and Burp Man. The dub uses both of these names in the message. And Jaco, who's the Galactic Patrolman we're following in this beginning scene, he accidentally blows up a Galactic Patrol monument, and his superiors question what happened because he was in the vicinity. He blames it on Burpman. And what is the crime that Burpman is on the lookout for? He's a chronic dine and dasher. Eventually, Jaco does make it to Earth, where he meets up with Bulma, Capsule Corp, Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo are there too. Bulma's intent was actually if Jaco could bring her to his Galactic Patrol base so they could find another vehicle that would be faster to get her to the center of the universe. But Jaco says the Galactic Patrol doesn't have any fast vehicle to get there that far, not to mention their jurisdiction is only within this galaxy. He does, however, know of an alien by the name of Zuno who lives on a planet not too far from Earth. And it's said that this Zuno fellow knows everything. Seeing this as better than nothing, Bulma agrees to go with Jaco to Zuno's planet. And we do get a funny scene with Vegeta being all jealous, and because he's all, "Don't try any funny business with Bulma," to Jaco. It was amusing. And as they leave, Goku and Vegeta do comment about how they are attracted to Chi-Chi and Bulma, and Vegeta admits Saiyans are attracted to strong-willed individuals. And it leads to Piccolo having a "that makes sense, it explains everything" sort of reaction. Bulma and Jaco do make it to Zuno's planet. They're greeted by a handful of his staff, where they mention that he wasn't expecting them, so they have to schedule a time to meet with him. He doesn't take drop-in visitors at the last minute. And they have to wait for about 7 years before he'll pencil them in. And it so happens that Burpman arrives to the planet as well. Now, Jaco and Burpman are kind of at a stalemate, and they're thinking this. They're not saying this out loud, but Burpman figures, because he recognizes the symbol of the Galactic Patrol on Jaco's uniform, he thinks that maybe he shouldn't risk it, but at the same time, he's waited 7 years to see Zuno because he wants to know how he can keep dining and dashing without getting caught. And Jaco realizes if he catches Burpman, then they can take his appointment time. But on the other hand, his superiors may find out that he lied about Burpman being the one who blew up the monument. So while at first it looks like Burpman's going to get away with it, Jaco decides at the last minute to confront him. He's good at measuring distance and trajectory, so Jaco actually is able to defeat Burpman. And so Zuno's staff allow him to take Burpman's place in seeing Zuno. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, Burpman is voiced by Vic Mignogna, the same guy who voices Broly for the FUNimation dub. He was also Birder in Funimation's dub for Dragon Ball Z Kai as well. Finally, Bulma and Jaco get to meet Zuno, who's voiced by Daniel Penz. He's got a very big head. And it turns out Zuno is Japanese for brain, fitting for a guy who knows everything. He'll answer one question for Jaco and answer three questions for Bulma. Jaco wastes his question about, shall we say, certain measurements about Bulma, to say the least. As for Bulma, Zuno kind of pulls some kind of manipulation with taking two rhetorical questions and treating them as her actual 2 out of 3 questions. Fortunately, though, Bulma is able to ask about the Super Dragon Balls, so it wasn't completely in vain. And Zuno reveals, despite what Beerus suspected before, because originally Beerus figured there'd be 2 sets of Super Dragon Balls because of Universe 6 and Universe 7 being twin universes, but Zuno confirms that there's only 1 set of Super Dragon Balls, and the Wish Orbs are scattered between Universe 6 and Universe 7. They were created by someone known as the Dragon God, Zalama, and they, as Champa had mentioned, they are planet-sized. They're planet-sized Dragon Balls, but they still have the stars 1 through 7 for each one. And this is important. The chant to summon the dragon, Super Shenron, and to make your wish, you have to speak in the divine language. So you have to speak the same language that divine individuals like gods and the assistants of the destroyers speak. As for the chant itself, it's Divine Dragon, come forth and grant my wish, peas and carrots. Yes, they actually do say peas and carrots. That's not an error. And he can only grant 1 wish, unlike Shenron and Purunga. But it's said that the wishes have no limitations, unlike Shenron and Purunga. So that's a pretty good deal. But once the wish is made, the Dragon Balls will scatter. And again, they'll scatter between Universe 6 and Universe 7, and then so that they can recharge until their next use. So with that all taken care of, they head back to Earth. Bulma fills them in on this. Vegeta pieces together that Champa had been sneaking into Universe 7 to get some of the Super Dragon Balls that have been in there. And Bulma's wondering what they're going to do about canceling out the wish that Champa might make, or whatever wish Beerus will make, since they now know there's only 1 set of Super Dragon Balls. Jaco also does mention that he actually took some vacation time so he can watch the tournament when the time comes for it. The episode ends with Jaco taking Bertman into custody and wondering how he's going to get out of... Well, he's worried that they might figure out that he was the one who blew up the monument, so he's trying to think of whatever explanations he can to get out of getting in trouble. So overall, this was a pretty funny episode. Really had a lot of hilarious moments in it. And it was a nice way that we got to learn more about Jaco. It's especially helpful for people who didn't get to read his spin-off manga. Like, they do have a flashback scene from there, or at least a scene back when Bulma was a kid. Or maybe she was a toddler or an infant. She was super smart at the time, and we do get to see more of Tights. So that was nice. And yeah, Bertman was a pretty funny criminal that he's so notorious because of his dining and dashing. And like I said, it was funny seeing Vegeta act all jealous about Jaco trying to do funny business with Bulma. But yeah, and Jaco wasn't going to do that. Although Bulma didn't take his reactions very well. So we still have we're not to the tournament just yet, but we're getting there, 1 step at a time. And this is important because it looks like the next week Toonami won't be airing any new episodes of Dragon Ball Super. They're going to do a marathon for 8 episodes of Dragon Ball Z Kai's Buu Saga, also known as Dragon Ball Z Kai The Final Chapters. I guess it makes sense. Labor Day weekend, they probably figured not many people were going to tune in at the time. Though I did look over the math, so if we assume that this coming weekend, Labor Day weekend, Christmas weekend, and New Year's weekend, if those 3 weekends are the only weekends left in this year that won't have new episodes, then we actually will be able to finish the Champa saga in dub form before next year starts. So it'll be the start of next year after New Year's once we get to the fourth saga of Dragon Ball Super, the dub version anyway. But we're going to have to be a little more patient, but we'll get to see the tournament, I imagine, in good time. But in the meantime, this was a fun episode to stop at before getting a week-long break before we resume. Take care, and until next time.